It's Monday morning and the community health clinic in the village of Chembe is buzzing with activity. This is a busy health facility catering for over 100 patients every day. Some of these people have travelled up to 30 miles on foot to get treatment. Malawi is a relatively small landlocked country in south-central Africa with a population of about 14 million. Unusually for this continent, there hasn't been any conflict here for decades, and it's nearly 10 years since the last major food shortage. But this is one of the poorest countries in the world, and those living in rural areas, especially women and young children, face huge problems when it comes to healthcare. Clinics are few and far between, and medical supplies are difficult to come by. Statistics show that of every 100 women who become pregnant, 8 will die before their child is born. Almost half of all children are chronically undernourished, and 1 in 10 will die before their 5th birthday. Ironically, the area around Cape Maclear is one of the most beautiful places in Africa. Mags Riordan first came to hear about this place through her son Billy, who visited here several times and described it to her as paradise. The remoteness and the beauty of the area makes it a popular destination with young backpackers from around the world. One evening in the spring of 1999, Billy went swimming in the lake and drowned. He was 25 years old.
I first came here to Malawi in 2000, February 2000, on the occasion of his first anniversary, with some friends of his, and I stayed for about 3 months on the first trip, and I liked it. I got to know the people, and I could totally understand what he was talking about. And then I came back again in 2001, and at that stage the idea was kind of forming in my head that I would do something in Billy's memory. And initially I thought it would be something to do with education, because that's my background. And so I managed to persuade the local people here to let me work as a volunteer teacher in the local primary school. And it was during that time that there was a famine here in Malawi. That was the last serious famine in Malawi in 2002. And people were dying of hunger, and they were dying of hunger-related diseases. And it was only then I realised that there was no medical treatment here. There was no clinic, there was no doctors, no nurses. There was barely access to Panadol. And so having seen a number of children die and many of them very severely malnourished, I thought, well, there isn't much point in building a school here if the children are too weak to go to school, and if they don't survive long enough to go to school. So I thought, well, the best thing to do is build a medical clinic.
And build it she did, with the aid of donations from people all over Ireland and abroad. The Billy Riordan Memorial Trust Clinic was opened in 2004, and since then it's provided much needed medical treatment for over 300,000 people.
It's very similar to what goes on at your average GP practice in Ireland. We have 3 consultation rooms, we have a pharmacy, we have 2 treatment rooms where the nurses treat the patients either for dressings, needing dressings done, needing injections, and we have a close observation ward in this actual building. The second building was built in 2007, and because of the first building, we found that we did have quite a number of patients that needed inpatient care treatment without necessarily having to send them to another hospital. So we have 2 wards, and we can keep a maximum of 16 people there. We also have a lab where we test for malaria and TB. And we also have consulting rooms and rooms where we do counselling for HIV/AIDS.
And to give you an idea of the scale of that particular problem, from a total catchment population of 15,000, the HIV/AIDS programme here currently has almost 650 patients. Something like this doesn't work without the people to drive it, and over the past 7 years, almost 300 people, mostly from Ireland, have volunteered their time to work at the clinic. There's a compound overlooking the lake known as the Gap, where the volunteers make their home. Those who come here fund their own upkeep, and the average stay is about 6 months. Among the villagers here, they're affectionately known as the Billies, and there's no doubt that they've left a lasting impression on this place.
My name is Jill Drake. I'm from Dunshaughlin, County Meath. I've been here in the clinic for the last month, and I'm here for the next 3 months. We heard about Mags through a doctor at home that we worked with, and we just decided that it'd be a really good thing to come out here for a couple of months, see the differences and maybe make a little bit of a difference and help out as much as we can.
What do you make of the place?
It's amazing. If it wasn't here, God knows what would happen to these children. Malaria is rampant right now, and all these children in this room probably wouldn't survive if the clinic wasn't here.
My name is Sheila Bernhardt. I'm originally from Tullow, County Kerry, but I live in Kilkenny when I'm in Ireland. I used to work as a theatre nurse in Kilkenny in the orthopaedics, so this is a total change for me, obviously. I came out here 4 years ago. The work is demanding, a lot of illness, a lot of malaria, a lot of HIV. I sometimes work in the HIV clinic, I do a lot of work in there. A lot of wounds, asthma, big thing. You name it, we've got it here.
What made you come out here?
Well, as a child, you won't believe this, but as a child going to national school, we had nuns who used to come from Africa, the foreign missions, to talk to us. And I always wanted to come to Africa, but I didn't want to be a nun, so I eventually got here.
In addition to the international medical staff, there are 32 local people working at the clinic, providing much needed opportunities for employment and training.
I started working as a patient care attendant. Yeah, but in 2009 is when now the trust decided to send me to train as an HIV counsellor.
Talk to me about Mag.
Oh, she's gorgeous. She's a gorgeous woman. Yeah, she has done a lot in Cape Maclear, as well as to my side, to myself as well. As I am now, have learned things that maybe I would not have learned.
And the subject of learning brings us back full circle to Mags's original mission and to her plans for the future.
The clinic is up and running, it's well established. It's playing a hugely important role in the village. But at the end of the day, in development terms, there is only one way to go, and that's down the education road. Anything else really I consider to be a kind of a sticking plaster. You need to educate people. And in a country at the moment where 1 girl in 5 finishes her primary school education, we need to provide more education. And in this village alone, we have 400 children in Standard 1. We have 2,000 children in the school, and we've, at the last count, I think there were 9 teachers. So we want to build a second primary school in the village and provide good basic primary education for. It'll be a small proportion of the children because we just can't cope with the huge numbers, but at least we could start.
The Billy Riordan Memorial Trust is funded by individual donations from ordinary people, and the current economic climate is hardly ideal for fundraising. A 50% drop in income has already impacted on the services provided by the clinic. Finding the money to build a school might seem a bit ambitious, but you'd have to think that if anyone can do it, it's Billy Riordan's mom.